What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on the 8K that just came out, what it's saying, and everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that said, let's get right to it. So right now it is down 6.8%. Very little volume, so 29.9 million shares have been traded. 80 is the average. Most of the volume being done today is done by larger institutions rather than algorithmic trading. So of course, I think that's more of a positive sign. But what's making today very interesting about SoundHound is the market is selling off because of dreaded CPI. It came in a little bit harder than anticipated, but that doesn't seem to be really affecting SoundHound whatsoever. What is really affecting SoundHound is this right here. So the 8K that came out as of 9:24 p.m. yesterday, and that just signals right here that they are diluting in the sum of $150 million. So not the best news, especially piggybacking off of that recent news right here about this 8K. And so in my video yesterday, I talked all about this 8K, how essentially they were registering new shares for dilution. It wasn't new dilution, it was just registering shares for, I guess, future dilution, if that kind of makes sense. But on a unrelated note, so they did submit this 8K, so it looks like a lot of just dilution is going to be happening in the foreseeable future. And clearly the market just doesn't really like that. Of course, rightfully so, right? But interesting point though, with this coming out at 9:24, you didn't really see that crazy of a sell-off. If anything, yesterday you didn't see anything happening, although at that time the market or after hours is closed. But even when it comes down to today, you saw a sell-off like at random times. So not necessarily when the market opened. And in reality, like I said, CPI didn't really affect it. When CPI came out, it was at 437, caused it to go down to about 421. But as soon as the market did open, it went up. So in reality, a lot of interesting stuff is happening with SoundHound, and in my opinion, when it did open up, it was down, I think, 13%. And with this right here, so with the Uptick rule, so you can kind of see right here, it just has these little red X's or EX, and that does indicate right here the SEC rule 201, aka the Uptick rule, has been triggered. So ultimately, any stock that is trading below or more than 10% down means shorts can't increase their position at that stage. So I think that's a good sign, essentially. Unfortunately, very beaten down stocks typically do get that. This is why you do see Faraday, Virgin, and then SoundHound. But getting back right to it, obviously I'm on this screen. There is no recent analyst ratings or anything like that. I just wanted to bring up why most likely it did go up, because shorts couldn't really manipulate it as much as they probably would really like. Aside from all of that fun jazz and dilution news and whatever else, I'll give you a quick overview of this. So going to Ortex and pulling up SoundHound right now, because I do have Lucid up. So right now shorts are increasing about 666,000 shares, so not necessarily the best number for those of you that catch on to that, but 19.42% of the free float is being shorted. 51.99 million shares overall are being shorted. Utilization is 99.34, and then cost to borrow average is 19.26%. And the reason why it did go up to all-time high short interest numbers is because of this. So 2 times per month, the NASDAQ does disclose true number of shares being shorted. It's always delayed, so it is unfortunate in that aspect, but yesterday they did disclose that as of March the 28th, there was 50.35 million shares overall being shorted, and that works out to be 18.81% of the free float. So then Ortex takes that information and kind of adjusts accordingly. So this is why we are at 19.42%. So very high stuff. When it comes to options though, $1.37 million in calls being purchased versus 1.06 million in puts, or if I said that right, but obviously you guys get what I'm saying. Very evenly divided between calls and puts. So 46% of all the options being done today are bearish, and of the call options, you do see more of a consensus for it to be above $5, and then vice versa, looking at puts for that, it's anticipating to be sub $4. But over yesterday though, it did break below this S1 right here, so I did say that you really needed to watch for that to hold. Unfortunately it didn't, so this is what really escalated the downtrend today, is just the 8K as well as the technicals. Technicals haven't really worked in SoundHound's favor over this last little bit, so again, the next point to watch for is 358, so that's the support, and then vice versa, this support has turned to resistance resistance, so this S1. And then aside from that, if that doesn't hold, then it'll get to the $1.49, which coincidentally is that all-time low for SoundHound. But on the actual chart itself, so it did break below that 50-day moving average, and as I said in my video yesterday, most likely for the foreseeable future until a good piece of news that does come out, it is just going to be wedge bound between the 50 and 100-day moving average. So if you are a options trader, that might be very beneficial, so take advantage of that and a lot of the volatility to collect some pretty good premiums, either sell puts or sell covered calls. You guys do your own due diligence though as well. I'm not a financial advisor. Looking at stochastic, you do see it at 3 or 4, extremely oversold. So if again there's a good piece of news that does come out, you could see a nice pop up associated to that. Especially a lot of capital will rush into SoundHound as a result of that. But despite that though, like I said, I think it's just stagnant. Institutions aren't really getting in as much as they once were. Retail has been selling out over this last little bit, so I think a lot of people are just kind of waiting for a good piece of news. And with all this dilution that has been happening, you'll want to see something positive. Of course, I think that 2020 or this S8 right here was associated to their 2022 equity incentive plan, so that's more so for stock bonuses and whatever else. This 8K that did recently come out, there is 41 pages, so I'll read through this at a later time and do another video all about this if necessary, just on what they actually do intend on using this money for. So I think overall it is what it is. So let me know your thoughts on SoundHound. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? Do you think based on the technicals it's going down as well? What is your thoughts on this recent 8K as well as S8? So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. One final thing, make sure you guys definitely take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account with 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗛, throw $100 at it. They do give you 7 fractional shares of the 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗛. So this is one of the best deals in the market. So link in the description below or the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.